Can't stop it. I don't want to stop it.
There are a number of heavyweight contenders vying for the heavyweight championship. Some will need to keep winning to stay in the hunt for an eventual shot at the two champions holding the four main belts, while others are closer to their shot at glory and potentially hoisting aloft the hardware that they've been working their way towards. In Tyson Fury's case, an immediate rematch with Deontay Wilder will give the self-proclaimed Gypsy King a chance to erase the draw he fought to with the WBC champion in December 2018. That result and the controversy with the fight has left many fans wanting more, wanting a definitive result either way. Many observers feel Fury will be better the second time around, as he will be deeper into his comeback from 2.5 years out of the sport. There are expectations his fitness and conditioning will be better the second time around as his body adjusts and adapts to being more than 100 pounds lighter than it previously was. But Fury, he will need more than just an improved physique and fitness. As Deontay Wilder demonstrated twice in their first fight, he was able to catch up with him eventually. He will again need to come up with a game plan to frustrate and thwart Wilder, who is vowing to be better when the pair meet the second time around. Can he though? Again, the fight is likely to come down to, can Deontay Wilder knock Tyson Fury out? And can Fury outbox Wilder without taking too much punishment in return? The eyes of the boxing world will be watching for this rematch, and it could well be the biggest fight in the heavyweight division in all of 2019. Dillian White is another contender on the cusp of a title, favoured to rematch Anthony Joshua after reeling off 9 straight wins since his knockout loss to Joshua back in 2015. Should this fight proceed, White will need to come up with a plan to overcome Joshua's height and reach advantages, while looking to land his much vaunted body punches and his vicious left hook to the head, which has in recent times knocked out Derek Chisora, Lucas Brown, and dropped the granite-chinned Joseph Parker. Indeed, the left hook was where White had some success in the first fight. White's shoulder was injured heading into that contest, and now he claims he is injury-free. That shoulder is now at 100%, that he's hitting harder than he ever has before, and some of that he credits to leading a more disciplined life in and out of the gym, which is translating into results. The question remains, while Dillian White has clearly improved, can he beat unified champion Joshua, who has also been improving and evolved himself since they first fought, picking up 3 of the championship belts in the intervening period? One of the old hands of the heavyweight division, Alexander Povetkin, will be back, going all in for another 1 to 2 fights in 2019, possibly even 3 before he retires. Povetkin, after his 2018 loss to Anthony Joshua, has indicated he doesn't want to waste his remaining time in the division fighting low-level fights, so it will be interesting to see who the Russian will be pitted against. Names like Alexander Usyk, Luis Ortiz and Joseph Parker have been mentioned in the same breath as Povetkin. Even at 39, Povetkin remains a dangerous opponent, especially in the early rounds, as he proved against Anthony Joshua. Can he fast-track himself back into title contention? It would appear unlikely, but if there's to be any chance of that, he will need to win in destructive fashion and bully his way back into some sort of mandatory position. A possible fight for Povetkin is Sergey Kuzmin, his countryman. He's also in the same promotional stable. Kuzmin's making his own charge up the heavyweight rankings. He will need to consolidate his position in the division in 2019 with a solid contender-level win, above the level of the David Price and Laurent Mitchell victories he scored in 2018. Kuzmin has been flying under the radar thus far in his professional career, but 2019 could be a year where he starts to garner more notable wins and the name recognition that comes with it. One fighter that's guaranteed a title shot at some point is Bulgarian Kubrat Pulev, who is the mandatory challenger in the IBF. But with Anthony Joshua not required to face Pulev yet, 2019 could be a slow year for Pulev, who has indicated he is willing to fight prior to his title shot, possibly in Las Vegas or Chicago. But if he does, will it be against anyone good? Or will it be just tick-over jobs, so to preserve his place in the queue and not risk what could likely be his last title shot and the millions of dollars that would come with it? Interestingly, Pulev partnered with Top Rank in late 2018, but it's unclear what plans the promotional stable has for him yet. Another guy who's doing the hurry up and wait routine is Dominic Breazeale. The American contender spent the majority of 2018 waiting for the WBC to call his title shot against Deontay Wilder. It never happened, and now a rematch is most likely between Wilder and Fury. The WBC will need to resolve Breazeale's mandatory status in the division, which could mean an interim title fight. In 2018, Michael Hunter rode into the heavyweight division and quickly announced himself as a man to watch, with an upset win over highly touted prospect Martin Bakole, who was unbeaten at the time. And then a month later he stepped in at late notice and put a beating on Alexander Ustinov. With those wins, Hunter put some air into his sails, and hopefully he can parlay that momentum into a big fight in 2019. While Hunter is a smaller heavyweight compared to some in the division, he's proved thus far he can think on his feet, adjust in the ring, and is willing to take calculated risks when he needs to. Perhaps one of the biggest underachievers in recent years who will look to have a big 2019 is Robert Helenius, who proved he's still a contender in 2018 with a destructive win over Erkan Tepe. If he can keep his hand and other injuries at bay, which have derailed his career in recent years, Helenius could be a dark horse in 2019 to score an upset win or two of his own. Another contender looking for a bounce-back year is Andy Ruiz Jr., who has largely been inactive since his lone title shot back in 2016. With the Mexican-American joining the PBC stable, he could have several potential fights at his fingertips. Christian Hammer, meanwhile, he's kept his name in the contender hunt after a December 2018 win over Michal Wallace, stopping the previously unbeaten German in 5 rounds. But where does he go now? Every time Hammer has stepped up to world level, he's been beaten, most recently by Alexander Povetkin in 2017 and Tyson Fury in 2015 before that. Hammer has now been pro for more than a decade, but is still only 31 years old, so he does have time to try reposition for a mandatory spot, but he will have to secure a big win or two along the way to get there. Sweden's Otto Wallen looks set to take another step towards a title shot in 2019, ordered by the EBU to face European title holder Ajit Kabiyal. The German represents a step up in class from Wallen's biggest win in 2018, which was against his countryman Adrian Granat. On New Year's Day, Wallen said on Facebook, "2018 was a good year. I won the European Union title and became the mandatory for the European title. Not long left until I get my hands on that one." At the time this video was published, it was unclear when the Kabiyal fight would be held, with no word on whether one of 2 proposed February 2019 dates was going to be locked in. There could well be 2 wildcards in the division in 2019. One Alexander Usyk and the other Vladimir Klitschko. Klitschko, the long-reigning champ who was dethroned in 2015 by Tyson Fury and then later also defeated by Anthony Joshua in 2017, has hinted at a comeback multiple times now. And should he come back, he would likely beat many contenders in the division, even at 42 or 43 years old. In respect of Usyk, the cruiserweight king looms large over the division, and when he steps up to the weight, should automatically be considered a contender. How fast he will be pushed, it remains to be seen, but he will no doubt be avoided by many in the heavyweight division because he will be tough to beat. For my fuller thoughts on his move to the division, check out my recent video all about Usyk. In part 2, we will cover Luis Ortiz, Jarrell Miller, Joseph Parker, and many more. Until then, thank you for watching, and as always, drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.